Good morning, everyone. Welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Wednesday morning. That's right. I'm back to being the world's greatest dads. World's number two is actually, I think he's in the back in the hood, if you will, because I know Finn has a birthday party coming up, and it's kind of like a farewell party at the same time. So I
Nice.
am going to try to make it to that, hopefully I think it's next weekend, but the thing is, I mean, I think we talked about this before. His location is kind of dangerous to go at night. It's literally in the middle of nowhere. You could get murdered, nobody would know. But John is with us. What's happening, man?
Oh, it's good, man. It's a
On a
Wednesday midweek.
Wednesday morning, this is shocking.
What do you mean it's chill? I was out for how long though? 2 weeks? Yeah,
Too
that's
long, my friend.
yeah,
Too
too
long.
long. I made up for it with the watch along, which is pretty fun. By the way, I was telling Matush and yourself towards the end that we should have done this earlier, but then at the same time, I was thinking to myself after we got off the broadcast, I don't think they'd want to see our authentic selves when there is absolutely everything on the line, right? Like, imagine if that was an actual title decider
Yeah.
and we lost that game, and
I
and
don't think the world is ready to watch
yeah.
me watch a
The,
game
the
yet.
thing is, man, the thing is, like, you're coming up with the glass half empty perspective again. What if that's what this channel actually needs? Is like the raw
More
of
crazy.
yeah, the raw unfiltered Tamuchin, the raw unfiltered John, the raw unfiltered Matush, so on and so forth. I'm not saying we're gonna go full blown Arsenal fan TV, but then at the same time, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it would be, I don't know, man. It would be interesting, that's for sure. When something is on the line, it would
yeah,
be interesting because I'm a lot more invested. First of all, there would be a lot less talking overall because we're like kind of like chatting at the same time
yeah.
now
Listen,
because
like,
it's
take
like
away from
watching preseason.
take away from
Whereas when everything is on the line, I'm a lot more like into the game. The boys need me, so I'm a lot more focused in the game and stuff like that. Everybody kind of scatters. Everybody kind of leaves me alone. Like even Angie
listen.
knows, like she's not gonna come and like ask a question when it's 0-0 or something when it's tense.
Listen,
Once there's a comfortable lead, I'm able to talk again. But you need at least like a 2 goal gap or something like that. Even the dogs kind of understand that. I'm like, dude, it's not that kind of game. You guys gonna have to give me some space, walk away, park over here. Leo doesn't get it yet, but
let's
he
just
did do the
say,
watch along.
sorry.
Ooh, we lost again when John had done a pre-show.
Thankfully, it
Is
doesn't
that a
matter.
streak of some sort?
Sorry.
Is that a streak of some sort? Whenever you do the pre-match, we
I
lose.
think Cersei, Cersei, he keeps track of all the superstitious shit. So I think it's an actual streak. Yeah, and I remember the time where I said that I couldn't do it, right? And then he was like, and he was just praising every god like in existence that I couldn't do it. So I think it is an actual streak. But what I was gonna say before you brought up the comment is, if last Monday's game mattered, you wouldn't have known some delights of Filipino cuisine. So that would have been a shame. So
Yeah, we would not be talking a lot of food over there. I
yeah,
think I don't know, like a game like that. Even that, it kind of like bugged me towards the end, like
it
how we
bugged
kind
you
of like let
really.
it
Like,
go. It didn't
okay,
as much as you. I noticed it bugged me a lot more than it bugged you guys. It just kind of like bummed me a little bit, just because
we had
I
the
don't know. You
lead.
don't want to lose any game, whether it's preseason or semi postseason, whatever the hell we're playing right now.
I get it because we had the lead. Like, we were 2-1 up, and the two goals that we conceded. Like, if it was a 100% sharp Liverpool, 100% like best lineup Liverpool, we don't concede that.
Yeah,
Those two goals, absolutely. And of course, I hate to bring it up because obviously, and I can attest to this from personal experience. Obviously, talking with you guys and talking with my buddies who are fans from other teams, discourse on social media in terms of like what's going on is way different from discourse like when you're face to face with other football fans. So how much are you being made with the fact that over the last 6 years, oh, not even six, like 7 8, since Leicester 15-16, this is the
okay.
lowest points total that a league winner would amass, right? Like, I know that,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I know there's semantics with it. Like, obviously we've been on the beach for the last 3 games and everything. But then you know how people are, right? Like I said, social media discourse is different from like normal people like yourself and I. When we talk to actual football fans,
That's a low bar for normal people, but
they're just if they win the league, it's fine, right? But then you got people like, oh no, they're not actually worthy title winners because it's actually all about Arsenal being injured. It reflects on their point total. You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean there.
yeah.
By the way, yeah, I mean,
Is that what
here's
you're
the thing.
saying? Wirtz is
I
on his way, by
understand
the way.
that, and I don't want to. What?
Is that what you're saying? Wirtz is on his way, by the way.
Yeah, that was Matthias saying Wirtz is on his way. Josh is here. Good morning, good afternoon to you. Josh must be having an exact. It's like 5 o'clock over there in Turkey, so a 5 o'clock tea, if you will. Football
nice.
Flag is here. He is actually getting his last bets and do what you can, man. But then I'm sure there's like transfer bets and stuff like that. And Ozan Kabak here. Look, I think I know what you mean exactly. I kind of wanted when it was 4 games to go and we had the party after the Spurs game. I was like, oh, how are these guys ever going to play a game again? Because that's how it looks. But I did want to get some more points to get rid of that narrative initially. And that still feels like really weird. Like, not weird, but it's just like kind of off that we did not. But dude, like 10 years from now, nobody's going to remember the point total. I think 10 years from now, I might not be around. You'll probably still be around, hopefully. But
listen, the channel will
away
be
from all that food.
The channel will be like 50,000 plus subscribers strong is where it's going to be, Tim.
Probably, because I won't be around. It will really get boosted there. But I think we'll just remember that year where we kind of sealed the deal with like weeks to go and then we were partying and stuff like that. I don't think anybody is going to remember the point total at the end. It might be the lowest point total, but it's still 12 points ahead. And I think that's the thing. It's still going to be like, with 4 weeks to go, one of the early, what is it, the second earliest or third earliest?
One of the earliest,
and stuff like that. I think that's what the history books will write, if you will, like when you look back or when we look back. Kevin says the Filipino food is the best ever. That's a really strong statement. Best ever? I don't know, because there's Turkish food.
The thing is, I'm fed up with it, so I
fed up with it.
Yeah, I'm fed up with it. Like, it's what we. My dad is the cook, right? When I was growing up, still is the cook now, and a lot of Filipino stuff.
So like on a regular day, so that's interesting now in the job. You see, this is why this show, when we were like trying to figure out like topics to discuss, I was like, oh, it'll go everywhere, don't worry. And here we go.
Right.
So in a regular day, okay, out of the 7 days in my household there, how many days is Filipino food?
4 or 5.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're like very like like I said, in a regular week, it might be 1 day where there's Turkish food involved, but we go kind of all over the place.
The thing is, like, I say 4 or 5, that's a stretch because on 1 day it might not be like the main entree, but there is something there. There is an option.
Okay,
right?
That's what I meant.
So
like,
I count those days.
It's somewhere there,
right?
But
right.
I know this for okay.
Yeah. So I count those days.
I realized, by the way, that it's not ignorance on my part. I was telling Angie, we got to go to a Filipino place now, because like whenever we kind of like talk food, and recently, like I did not know people constantly throwing things over there. Popsidal? What is that? What it was? Popsidal.
Pandesal.
Pandesal. Like that. I don't know what is Dinigoan?
Oh, I do not like dinuguan, but my mom loves it though. It's basically. It's
okay,
a
you can Google it and tell me what it is, because I could have done that too. I thought you were gonna be like, that's this, Tim.
No, because I'm not good at describing food, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not good at describing.
I'm good at eating it.
I'm good at eating it, and I'm good at describing the taste. But in terms of like its composition and everything, so it's basically like the thing I think about when I see the food is like, okay, how much am I gonna have? Not the intricacies of like what's it made of, like how much salt is there, or what's the sauce.
Okay, I don't know, dude. I didn't want like a recipe for it. I was just asking like, what is it? It's like this with this or something like that. I wasn't expecting like, and then you put 2 teaspoons of salt. Like I'm not looking for that much detail. Like,
Ozan Kabak is right though. It's made from blood.
Oh shit! I thought he was just joking. Are you
No. No, it's that dinuguan. Dugo is blood in Filipino. So right, so like it's a play. It's a play on the word blood. So it's like so pudding. It's like pudding textury, the sauce, and then it's like it would listen. I'm not its biggest fan, but
I can
I
tell
don't.
you're not the biggest fan because you didn't
Yeah.
really like explain it as something that I'm like, ooh, blood and pudding
The
texture.
thing is, man,
Sign me up.
like for example, sisig, right? Pork sisig. It's like basically pig innards, guts, off parts of their body, but it tastes glorious, man. I can't describe it to you
Yeah,
well,
the parts
but it
of the
tastes.
body thing is,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's difficult because sometimes, I always tell, I probably had told the story like when we went home with Angie. I was trying to like Turkish food is amazing, like Abdul Rahim is saying. So like
right.
trying to get her to taste different stuff, and I'm trying to squeeze in some stuff that I know. I mean, and back then she used to be a lot pickier. Like she's not anymore, but she used to be a really picky eater. Like when we first like
Right.
met and got married and stuff. And so we went to this place, and I'm like trying to get her the kokoreç, if like uh, I forgot the name now, but he can
Yeah.
definitely tell us like what it is, for example. Meanwhile, email Smith is like, yeah, we're gonna get to that hopefully. Hopefully we'll get to the soccer stuff. But Josh, yes, I'm sorry. Josh will tell you what kokoreç is. He's probably eating it over there every day. But yeah, great morning breakfast is right. But it's basically the large intestine is ultimately what it is. But
Right.
it's freaking awesome and it's all spice. So we went to this place and they were like they make like fried oyster, and they make this. That's the only thing basically like those places usually make. So I get the sandwich with that. She gets the oyster, and obviously it's oyster. She loves it, whatever. And so I gave her a taste of what I had, and she was like, "Oh, that's really good. It's spicy, but what is that and stuff?" And I told her it was like a moments. So then we go to another restaurant, and I see on the menu they have brains, which is basically like a sheep brain.
Right. Right.
And you can get brain in a format where you don't necessarily know it's brain until
Mm,
you start kind of like eating it. So I
mm.
was telling my brother, I'm like, dude, we should get it, see if he can finagle that because he's doing all the ordering and stuff like that. Because like
Right.
like a seafood restaurant where you order a bunch of stuff, like that's how you order back home. And dude, they literally brought this plate. It's like an oval plate, and there were literally two brains like sitting on it. There was no disguising, nothing. Like it
Wow.
was just two brains
Like
with some olive oil on top. I was like, and she's like, I'm not eating that. I'm like, damn it. So
so it's like how how brains are in like movies and stuff, like an actual like brain, like pink and all,
as
right?
opposed to like, I mean,
Like
there's only one brain,
because
bro.
what I mentioned, pork sisig, it includes brain, but it's cut up, so it's included like in within the
Oh no! See,
parts. Yeah,
normally, they can put in a salad
yeah,
format, so it's kind of like hidden in between the leaves or something like
right.
that. I was hoping for something like that, but no, man, he just
It's
brought
just
like
straight up.
two full
I,
brains,
I mean,
like it was that Indiana Jones scene where they're like
hey,
monkey brains. It was literally like that in
listen,
the
man.
rest.
The
Jordan,
devil,
what's
you,
going on, man? Welcome to the channel.
the
Okay.
devil, man. The devil, At least they're straightforward with it. No hiding.
And that's the
Right.
thing. That's why, like, sometimes the description of the food is not the same as. I
As
mean,
how it, yeah.
when I see on the menu pig's blood with innards, I was like, can I have some more of that? But, sign me up. But okay, so let's get to.
And you were wondering if we had enough to talk about, man.
Yeah,
Look
I
at
was like
that.
topics first because I was like, we don't want to talk trends all day, every day, like everybody's doing kind of a thing. I do
Before we
want to
talk,
get
Tim,
to it.
before we talk about football, Cersei's comment about the myth about Filipinos loving karaoke, it's true. Although I don't love karaoke because I have recognized that my singing voice is nothing people
Wait,
want to
like,
hear.
is it like that doesn't make sense? It's like, is that a stereotype that I'm not
It's
familiar
a
with? Maybe.
stereotype, yeah.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
and listen, there is some truth to it because every single Filipino friend that I have here loves to go to karaoke when there's some sort of hangout or something, and there's just me like sitting in the background with a drink, like not wanting to do it. Like, I don't like it. I don't
All
like
right, Jordan is like, Jude, you should just like come on air sometime, join one of the shows and stuff like that. We do a lot of like,
it.
cross. I've like shown up on a bunch of other channels and stuff like that, and they didn't ask me back. No, I'm just kidding. I occasionally, occasionally like make appearances and stuff like that. But karaoke and basketball.
Yeah, we love basketball.
Really?
Yeah, basketball's our national sport, man. And I remember mentioning this in one of the shows. Basketball's our national sport, but our average like national height is like under 5'10".
That's why it was like basketball, really? Because I've never heard of
Yeah.
like like the Filipino
So little
basketball team.
history lesson here. We were conquered by the Spaniards for 300 years. After the Spaniards came, the Americans came, and that's where we got primarily like our bigger influences, like our in terms of pop culture stuff like that. Basketball is one of them.
I got you.
Like
Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously Turkish players in the NBA and stuff like that. It's grown a
yeah,
lot since I left. It used to be
yeah.
nothing but soccer. It has grown, and they have like some good players and stuff like that. It always helps, like when you send one guy to the NBA, everybody starts watching, getting up at
Oh
like
yeah,
the hours of the night and stuff like that. So they've kind of like started that, and it kind of has grown since then. But Liverpool videos, yeah. So if you are online right now. Oh, 2.2. I was like, what? It said 2 initially. I was like, I thought he just started. But yeah, just give him a follow as well. He's following us. We'll probably follow you right after the show ends over there. Because I feel like there's sometimes, yes, like Hido is the
ooh,
one who
he was good.
started it. But afterwards, they've been like a lot coming over here. And that was and suddenly entire Turkey was like a Sacramento Kings fans. Like
Uh,
Turkey was Sacramento Kings fans. And then
Sangoon,
as more
Sangoon from
people.
Houston. Yeah,
Shangun is like
yeah,
amazing. Who else do
yeah.
we have? No, there was like a bunch.
Caspi, Omri Caspi, I think.
Who?
Was he Turkish? Omri
That's
Caspi.
an,
Oh no, it didn't
it
ring
is
a bell.
Jedi Osman, I think his name
Oh,
is.
Cedi Osman. Yeah, maybe I missed.
What
Maybe
was the dudes that
my
was
bad.
the Portugal dudes? That was like a good Sacramento Kings team at the time. Okay, we got all over the place.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's gather
we're just
back
going.
together.
We're
Let's
just going
talk the facts.
everywhere, man.
Let's bring it all back together.
Yeah.
Serge, what's going on, man? Good morning. So the whole words thing. Let's talk about that because in the comments, see now we're gonna have to talk about this first. Damn it, let's talk about this first because Liverpool videos brought this up. Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
Here.
let's go. Sorry, it makes me laugh. Like
It
it
does
just makes
make
me
me
laugh.
laugh in a way too.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah. See, there you go. Everybody wants to kind of talk about that. I do not want to make this about Trent though, because I don't want to talk about Real Madrid too much. But um, you see this because obviously we didn't see this during the live watch along. I saw this afterwards, like this evening when these photos came out, and we talked a little bit about it in the Monday night podcast. But we kind of like before we went on air, we were like, "Hey, let's make an effort to not use Trent's name and not make the entire episode Trent, because once you say Trent, he just doesn't um go away." See, you never welcome family says he doesn't regret it. It's pure entitlement. He expected the whole crowd to be chanting his name and he can't stand the reaction he's gotten since he announced he's.
I'm a little bit on that camp. What do you think? Like I
When you
think
see it, okay, let's start with
yeah,
this. You saw that. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
we didn't see it live, so you saw it like me afterwards. What is your
right.
first emotional reaction to seeing that?
I snickered. Literally, I was like, like I was like, yeah, like literally. Like, what do you expect? Like, we want to win the league. I mean, we want to win the league. We just won the league. Like, sure, we lost the game, but it's the first time we won the league in front of fans. The fans have every right to deserve to celebrate whatever way they want. And oh boy, look at that! It's the consequences of your actions, my friend. Like, how about that? Right? Like, listen, every time this brother doesn't defend, he's defended like crazy, right? And he doesn't even get called out by his own manager back then. Like
Yeah.
you'd think Klopp was one of those people who just enabled him to get away with that. And now, like it's the actual first time where he experiences what facing the consequences of his actions, and he can't stand it. That's my whole thing, and it's absolutely glorious. What's worse is you think this is bad, right? Go 2-3 games performing subpar with Real Madrid, you'll know what's bad. Like this is like baby. This is easy mode, Trent. Wait till you get to Spain. You don't perform for 2 or 3 games. They're gonna want you out. They're gonna want you benched. So listen, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, my initial when I first saw it,
Yeah,
I was like, you know, man, that sucks. Kind of,
Sucks for
you know
Trent.
what it reminded me of? Like, like when a toddler is doing something, they're like
Yeah.
running around playing, and they're kind of having fun, but they're running around playing, but it's about to happen. So when they fall or something like that and hurt themselves, and then especially after you told them, hey, you're gonna hurt yourself. When they fall, initially you're like they start crying, you're like, oh, you okay? And then you're
Yeah.
like, you know what? I freaking told you this was gonna
Yeah.
happen, though, didn't I? So
Yeah. Exactly.
so now you kind of like more like I freaking told you so kind of in a mode, and I don't have any. What goes around comes around. Yeah, like you're saying, it's the consequences of actions.
What is your
Knocking
sympathy
on the
level
door.
for Trent?
Sympathy level?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like almost non-existent. Like I wouldn't
Oh yeah,
even
I was
mention.
gonna say mine. I was gonna say mine's like in the negatives. So
Yeah, I mean, like I say, what is there to be?
yeah,
I think people who are feeling bad for Trent are more feeling bad for the fact that for themselves in terms of like his memory being destroyed as we go, not
yes,
necessarily for Trent himself, because I think
yeah,
everybody agrees that he is the one who's mishandled this.
mm,
And not the club, not the fans. I love like how fans are trying to put it on other fans for like the booing and stuff like that. But
right,
he has brought this on himself. This is what you wanted. This is what you got. And I think that photo, I mean, whoever found that angle at the end found the perfect angle with the three involved in there.
yeah,
And you could have been enjoying this. You could have been there for the long run. Look, all these people that are coming in and the people we're after, but you didn't want to be a part of this. So then you're not a part of this. And maybe you can kind of see regrets, but it's kind of like too late. It's like a guy who's been caught, kind of a regret. If you got away with it, there was not
mm,
going to be any regret. If they still sang his name and he celebrated like there was like nobody cared, like he was leaving,
mm.
I don't think he would have any regret. And I think that's why I have like zero sympathy
It's
really what
yeah,
goes around
it's
comes around.
foreign territory for him, having to, like I mentioned, having to face the consequences of his actions because he's been shielded his
Yeah.
entire Liverpool career. So like
But I
this,
think aside from that, I don't think when he was, look, anytime you make a decision, at least anytime I make a decision, you kind of like, my thing is like, what's the worst case scenario, right? I mean,
mm,
you're always like hoping this is where it's going to be, but you kind of have like a worst case scenario. I don't think he had the worst case scenario anywhere near what he's getting now. I don't think he ever thought, and probably his stupid brother ever told him, hey, this might happen though, by the way, right? Because they're
yeah,
like, oh, dude, you're a legend, they'll forget about it, blah blah blah. And you know what, the anger might be less 3 years from now or something like that, but he's never going to
well,
be
yeah.
the legend.
When I was still a bit lukewarm on it. Remember that comment I posted on one of the shorts where I was like, yeah, I still see him as a legend, and like over the next few days, like I have changed my stance. I thought that he'd be like a Torres case where like Torres played in the Legends game a few months ago, right? And you had people chanting his name. So there's an example of time healing wounds, right? But in terms of what Torres did and what Trent did, sometimes it's easy to forget that he is the local lad, right? Torres had nothing to do with Liverpool. Like he came in from he's a Spaniard, so it's completely different. With Trent, I don't know. Do you think time can heal wounds? Because with how things are going now, I don't know. I don't think so. Because with Michael Owen, the people still look at him with absolute. I'm not saying Trent's gonna go to Manchester United or something, but like that looks like a wound that's never gonna be healed. And Trent might be, I don't know, close to that. I don't know.
It's an interesting point because I
Yeah,
don't know. Like, yes, I mean, if he
yeah,
becomes a Michael Owen, how is Michael Owen an ambassador is beyond me, by the way.
exactly. I
So
can't
that's a
get
whole
over.
different topic. But if he goes to a Villa or something like that, then comes back, I know the conversation is different. But I mean, Ozan says he'll end up in Villa too. I think if he goes to, like Abdul and Ozan are saying, like if he goes to Villa and then 10 years down the road appears on a Legends game, he's not going to get booed because he's
Yeah,
in the Legends game. He's there for charity, blah, blah, blah. But I don't
yeah,
think he'll ever be remembered as what he would have been. He probably should have been remembered as, despite, we built this basically around him saying to the midfield, hey, this guy's going to be gone, so you guys are going to have to cover for him all the time, kind of a deal. And I mean, we set up a system, and this team was very successful with that And him, I mean, when he was getting the assist numbers with Trent and stuff like that, he was like the best thing ever. So, and let's face it, if he did sign an extension, he would still be the best thing ever. There'll be people telling me over here that he should play midfield and crap, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically he's brought on himself. He's not on Torres level. Um, I think when, like as Serzi says, but here's the thing. I think
Yeah, I'm more of the same thing with you.
it hurts locals more. See, I think we are still looking at it from outside. Anybody who's joining us right now from Liverpool can probably tell you that they see it as 10 times worse than Torres in that sense because he's one of their own. This is like your like family member stabbing you in the back and screwing you over. It's one thing to get screwed over in business. It's one thing to get screwed over in business by your, family friend or family. So I think that's why and that the latter hurts a lot more. And I think that we can't comprehend that because we're looking at it from outside. To us, both of them are business partners. But in this case, it hurts a lot more because it's your freaking family member screwing you over and kind of like leading you on. On top of it, like the way it's done is so, I mean, dude, it is horrific. You could not, if you went and said, what is the worst way we can do this? This is probably what you would do.
This is close or the actual worst. Right? Like, I don't know. Like, the worst would probably be him going to, like, City or something. Like, what would hurt more? Him going to Madrid or City? You think? Like, my only thing...
I mean, City would hurt more.
Yeah, that's the only way it could be worse for me if he goes like to City or something. Like,
I think it would hurt more because like when it's Real, everybody has that. Every kid wants to play for Real Madrid thing. Like it's a different country, different experience. So that's the only thing that people who are supporting him can hang their coat on. So if you take that away and put it in the Premier League team, that's gone. I think that's the only thing. Godfrey, what's going on, man? Good morning.
Morning, Godfrey.
So I think that's like the deal there. Like a lot of people who are local are gonna have a lot more hatred. But I was like listening to, can't remember what it was, but there was a dude. I think he's from either Redman or the other one, the Anfield rap. I can't remember, which probably is not good. But he said like he was in the stadium and the guy next to him was booing. The guy on the other side was getting really mad at the people who were booing. I think people are split. I think people feel the same way. Some of them agree with showing the reaction. Some of them don't. But I think people feel exactly the same way. If you ask them how they feel outside the stadium, I think everybody feels the same way. How everybody shows that emotion is going to be different. But time heals things like that, I think. But yeah, I mean, when I saw this initially, I was like,
that makes me laugh.
That's sad,
yeah.
But it's not as sad because you did it to yourself. So you have only yourself to be like mad at for the situation over here. You could be one of the other guys, and it was a lot easier for you to be one of the other guys. Anyone saying Liverpool fans are in the wrong are silly, leaving your boy club enough money you could generate at least. Yeah, the money thing. Honestly, man, I'm not even. A lot of people are mad because of when everybody says how he's leaving, John. The biggest thing people say is he's leaving for free. I honestly don't even care that he's leaving for free. Like that's not the biggest thing. That's up there. Okay. Like he should have brought something to the club. That's up there. I get that. The thing that kind of like gets under my skin and doesn't like leaves like a bad feeling is the dishonesty about how he went about the whole thing. That bugs me more. Him celebrating like this and then doing this and us finding out that was in the works all this time. So when he was doing this to the fans as he was celebrating, this was already all done. It wasn't like, he was trying to still decide. He doesn't hear this, blah, blah, blah. To me, that deceiving attitude and the dishonesty and the kind of whole snakiness of the thing, that bugs me more than him leaving for free.
Right. And there's been like a whole thread on this on social media. I recall reading a few weeks ago where there was a certain point in Trent's career where, and I think you would know this because you have a magnifying glass on Trent when he's defending that.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But there was a certain point in the Klopp era where Trent looked, or at least where he looked like he was too good to defend. You know what I'm trying to say? Where he had his man in front of him and he would just give like 25% or lower effort. And I feel like it got to him And how he handled this situation is like a microcosm of that whole feeling, if that makes sense, about how
Yeah.
he's too good to. Like obviously, it's an on the pitch thing. You feeling too good to defend because oh no, I create most of the shit, so I shouldn't have to defend. That is entitlement, right? And that's like a virus that's just spread over all over his body now, where it's not just on the pitch anymore; it's off the pitch too. And that played, I think, a massive
I
part in
guess,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
See, like I can understand that. Yeah, like the defending thing is kind of like Mo saying, "Hey, I mean, I can come back and track, but you're not gonna get the goal." So I understand him saying, "Hey, I mean, I can constantly stay back and not push up,
yeah,
but then you're not gonna get the assist as much or whatever." And then you kind of make a tactical
yeah.
thing. My thing is always when his defensive awareness is shit. It had nothing to do with the system. He would
It's not the
any
system.
given
Yeah,
go, he lost this guy. That's what he was back there. Like I have never been mad at him for where's Trent kind of thing because that was the system. But when he was back there, he couldn't defend. But all those people who defended him back then is now seeing the lights that I've been
yeah.
saying for 2 years and getting shit on because he just did not have the will to defend. A lot of defending is about will. Okay, obviously you have to have the ability, strength, speed, and all that kind of stuff. But it's a lot of will, and he did not have the will. But Real will find out the hard way. They can
For sure.
enjoy it over there. Brazy, what's going on, man? I am in Chicago, man. We're all over the damn place, but
Yeah,
I'm in Chicago,
New York for
and
me.
John is a New York boy,
Yeah.
eating Filipino food on a daily basis. 5 days of the week. Alan,
Ophthalmologist. What is an ophthalmologist? For the eyes, right?
apparently teeth.
Teeth? Oh, okay.
I thought it was. I have no
Well,
idea. So
hold on. Let me
yeah,
go.
you
Let me.
got me over there. Um, okay. Let's get to
It's
who's
for the eyes.
actually staying and who we might see playing for us next year.
It's
The
for the
worst
eyes.
thing is probably the biggest thing. I'm still doing the self-defense mechanism. Um, it was so sad he didn't come on versus. Really, I couldn't care
Was
less,
he on
dude.
the
I mean,
bench?
he
Gomez?
was, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
he
I didn't.
was on the bench. He was eligible, and yeah, we were talking about this on Monday. It's almost like at this point, Slot is torturing him. I think, like, because he could have not put him on the squad. We were talking about like why even put him on there if you're not going to put him in, and maybe he would have put him in based on how the game was going. Maybe he puts him in if we're up by 2 or 3 or something like that. But I don't know. He should not be on anything. He should not be on here. He's gone. So let's get to Wirtz, who might be here. Are you sold? My defense mechanism still says this is not happening. This is all a negotiation thing to get the most out of Bayern.
Yeesh. The thing is,
But
what's what? Sorry.
they have not sold a player to Bayern. I think Matush was saying this on Discord earlier,
Hmm.
since like 2004 or something crazy like that.
Right. There's a general disdain there, and from what we're looking at on social media, like the player that they could possibly sell to Bayern is going on a free, right? I think Jonathan Tah. So it doesn't really count,
Yeah,
right? Like it
yeah.
doesn't really count. So I'm it's growing. Like from our conversation during the watch along, I was like at 30%. I'm at like 40, 45 now. I mean, what worries me is the fee, like because we like paying like in installments and stuff like that, so we'll never know how like another club would want the deal to be structured, financially and stuff like that. That's the only thing that's kind of holding me back. And granted, this is going to be a massive sign, and we have if we're going to be spending, like, it's going to be close to 100 million, right? And we haven't spent that kind of money since Allison, if we're being honest, right? Like,
Yes.
right.
I
So
mean, we've tried with Caicedo and stuff
yeah,
like
with
that, but we
Caicedo.
did
So
not.
and that didn't go through. So that means it's still in the coffers, that money, right? It's still there. So listen, it's gone up to 40, 45. And if we're talking about like a signing that's going to define an era, I think it's this one. We should go ahead. But I'm still more on your camp. Like it's gone up, but like super cautious for now.
Yes,
Oh,
we're
Darwin.
trying not to remember that, dudes. I know Darwin Nunes was big money. We're trying to forget. We put that so that we don't even like talk about it. But yeah, he was big money. That was like a high. The only thing I worry about this whole flooring thing. is
Mm.
I would love him to come because I do agree he's a generational talent. Gally was talking a lot because obviously Gallon is in the area and obviously he follows that game with fat guys swinging sticks. And like more familiar with how like the Boston Red Sox do business and stuff like that, who is owned by FSG. In terms of like when they want somebody and when they feel like that guy is worth it, they will spend the money on him. When he's like a game changer, if you will. The only thing I worry about this whole ordeal is if it doesn't happen,
Who do we have?
whoever we bring, people are going to poo poo. And that's what I really worry about. They're going to be like, I don't know, like he can go, like if we don't get him, for example, and go get, I don't know, name another guy that, like people were like, oh, that'd be a good addition and stuff like that. Like you can go get freaking Gumares, Bruno, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
People will be like, yeah, but he's no Florian Wirtz and stuff. Is what's going to happen? That's probably my biggest concern when we go after somebody like this.
But then at the same time, like you and well, at least fans like you and I, we have we know how to put trust on this recruitment team. Like this is the recruitment team that got us.
We do,
Yeah, yeah.
but
That
I'm talking about the FIFA Ultimate Team mode people.
listen, I don't know, man. Like obviously every fan is entitled to their opinion, but then at the same time, these are the guys who got us Allison, got us Virgil, got us Mane, Wijnaldum, right? For fees that people were like, what? Really? 35 for Mane, 30 for Wijnaldum? Like, who are these guys? And they turned out to be like, Wijnaldum was semi world class, Mane was world class.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm putting my faith on this team.
Yeah,
What
I mean that's the thing. I trust them in whoever they bring. This gang
Right.
a lot more than the last couple of year gang. Like
Yeah.
Edward Hughes and stuff like that. I do trust who they bring. I'd be okay with it. I just know the overall mood
Yeah.
would go down. Like even if like Frimpong, I don't think is it official yet. I read that he passed the physical.
Yeah.
But
Just
I
no
don't know if it's
announcement yet.
I haven't seen the announcement yet. Yeah, I was hoping to kind of I was thinking we would be waking up for it, but it didn't happen. But like for example, if you don't get Kerkez now, like all the talk is Kerkez, right? If you don't get Kerkez now, let's say you go get Al Nuri or somebody like that everybody wanted to get, or like Robinson or somebody like that. Now that it is not Kerkez, it will always a big portion of the fan base would be yes, would be going for that, and it's not necessarily the worst choice, but I just know that that's what's going to happen with Wirtz if it doesn't happen. Whoever we bring for that position is going to be kind of poo-pooed.
Yeah.
But Gallic says they will be always complaining if we get Wirtz.
Yeah, true.
Yes, the overspend. I already see that. They're like, is he worth that much though? It's like it's the same people who last week were like, I bet you won't spend that money. And they're like, is he worth it though? It's like, what the hell, man? Do you want to spend the money?
The thing is, like, Wirtz has more weight with like that fee because he was an integral part of the invincible season for Bayer Leverkusen. Like I like in hindsight, like obviously Van Dijk for what was it, 75, 80 million? Like right now, like he's worth like triple that fee. But then back then you're like, is he really? Like objectively, right? Like because he played for Southampton, right? Mid-table side. He was really good, but for a mid-table side. So you'd kind of get the argument. But here, like if we spend like 100 million, I would be like, yeah, easily. It makes sense, you know.
I think you're getting a guy because of his age and because of the player that he is. It's a lot of money that's spread across so many years that it will not be. And honestly, it's probably a guy that at the end you might turn around and sell to Bayern anyway. And you recoup some of the money. But I think because of his age and the profile he's at, it's a smarter. It's not like you're buying like a 28-year-old guy and be like, oh, we only got like 2 seasons with him and if he like falls apart kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point over there. When we signed Van Dijk, I already see like people poo-pooing. But okay, let's face it though, we do the same thing, right? Like I already see people poo-pooing like even the Kerkez, Frimpong and stuff like that. He's like, oh, they got another right back who can't defend, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's mocking it. It's kind of like, we were talking about Cunha and we were kind of like seeing how it can go south. Whereas if we probably signed them, we'd be like, oh, we got Cunha.
How much did we get Kerkez? I mean, sorry, Frimpong for 30 million?
I think it's 30 or 35.
The thing is, like,
it's not official yet, so God knows.
Right. And you just mentioned it, right? Thinking about the worst case scenario. If it doesn't work out, we didn't break the bank to sign him.
No, no.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's
yeah,
somebody everybody wanted. It's just like
yeah.
29 says Mr. Barrett.
Yeah, there we go. Like, and I think the thing is, it's gonna work out. Like the people who are going like, oh, they got another right back who can't defend. Yeah, we won everything with a right back who can't defend. So like like, what are you trying to say? You know what I mean? Like the thing is, like with Frimpong, yeah, he might not be as good defensively, but he'll put in like the effort on like a certain someone. You know what I mean? Like he'd at least try. Yeah.
Wait, why is Alvarez out of the question? Did something happen that I didn't hear?
I don't know. I don't know.
We've been working on this Darwin and some money thing for like a week now. I mean, hold on. We were finalizing the details of our offer. We worked all watch along to put together like a freaking plan for it. Somebody was asking, let's go back. Okay, Darwin the Goal was asking actually. If we don't get Wirtz out of these two names, do you have a preference as a plan B? It's a loaded question, but I thought the president
and I can't say that I've watched Xavi Simons a lot more than Shirky, and I don't know.
Well, I guess he said he was raised. I mean, we can send him back when he's like 40. He can die there. I mean, we don't care where he dies as long as he plays for us for like 3-4 years. I don't know. That could be just a way of like increasing the price even further and rejecting our Darwin Núñez and cash offer. But I'm sorry, who did you pick at the end?
I mean, I'm just choosing Simons because he's the one that I've mostly watched. Netherlands national team is the team that I follow more than any other team, and obviously he's played with Leipzig. So just because I've seen him more and I've seen what he could do, Simons. But then that's just like. It's not. You shouldn't put any weight in that because I haven't seen Shirky a lot.
Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of him either. I mean, I did see some of his games in like Europe and stuff like that. Yeah. But the problem
he seems very direct.
Yes, and it's like kind of like apples and oranges. I feel like if my concern is I don't know what Wirtz was being signed for, like in terms of what position. Like what's
your guess?
10? I still think he was going to be like a false 9.
I have a feeling too.
And you were going to almost go to this like 4-4-2, if you will, in attack, enabling. Now you have guys on the sides who can bomb up and down with like Frimpong and Kerkez and stuff, enabling like Gakpo or Diaz if he's still here. And then like coming more inside. You have Szoboszlai. Now you have Szoboszlai, Wirtz, McAllister, guys who can suddenly make unexpected runs into the box and stuff like that. So many difficult things to defend. That's what I was thinking we were getting him for, and not just like another Szoboszlai, like attacking number 10 or something like that.
Like you see what he makes Jota do when Jota plays the 9, where he gets the ball deep and tries to release Mo or Gakpo or whoever. Imagine like an actual, an actual false 9. Imagine a Bobby. Like we don't even need to go that far. Like oh my god. Like imagine a Bobby. Like I see. Yeah, that's why I see Wirtz as that false 9 because he'd just be excellent there. And we can't get rid of Szoboszlai's pressing. Like we don't want to run down Shirky to the ground with him playing that 10 that Szoboszlai plays. Like we need Szoboszlai there.
The trick is he can play wing and stuff too. So I don't know. Like I do agree with Gally in terms of him being more versatile, and obviously the price tag.
I think Simons can play wing as well. He can play midfield and wing because he's got the pace. Yeah.
So it's kind of like like good in that sense. So here's the question though. We'll get to like bat threads about Edwards. Already we're tracking planes over here. Who's flying where and stuff, but. Is there a thing about having too many guys from the same country on the team?
I don't think
I'm just throwing it out there.
No, for me, because like that team with Benitez, where our manager was Spanish, we had Pepe Reina, Xabi Alonso, Albert Riera, like Fernando Torres. If I'm missing someone, let me know. That was an excellent team. So it's not an issue for me as long as the players are top class, And we've got some top class Dutchmen right? Like,
Yes, I just always wonder about not on the pitch and oh yeah, below.
mm, really
It
good. Yeah.
that's a good point too, I guess.
Imagine if we all had Americans, like 5 Americans. Like,
Oh, don't get that started. Yeah. But
Gordo is gonna go ape shit, man. If
by Filipinos, yeah. Um,
oh no.
I just don't know if there's a thing to like the dynamics of the team. I think in some ways it's a huge help, right? Like when you, especially when you're bringing them from a different country,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier transition because that is really difficult to do going to a different country and playing and stuff. So it does help to have other, just imagine like if a Filipino guy comes to Liverpool, if there were like other three Filipino guys who don't
Oh,
have
for
to look it
fuck's
up
sake.
on Google to see recipes, they were like, dude, come over to my place.
What
We're
is with
having
the
fun this
shade
house.
here, man? What is with the shade here? It's not a dick. You mean to tell me that you don't have any Turkish dishes that you're not too keen on? That you don't really.
I'm
That's
not too keen on, but if you ask me like a Turkish dish, I can give you the gist of it without Googling it and trying to put it.
all right, Mister. All right, you should work for a food magazine then. You should work for a food magazine then. God.
I might as well as I gain weight. I could be a spokesperson. Didn't want shit. Oh God. Okay, so what's the most concurrent viewers you guys have ever had? I
Uh,
honestly
well,
on a live show, I think like last week or maybe it was this Monday, we did get close to 30 live, which is probably the highest we've done
what about
live
24
on
hour man?
YouTube. Sometimes we get like, I mean, Twitter is weird because you can't exactly tell how many people are live. There are times like especially watch alongs we do like really high on the Facebook live views and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, thanks to you guys spreading the word. I'm giving you guys credit, but maybe it's not. I don't know. I'll give you guys the credit for like spreading the word, grabbing people by the ear, and bringing them over. But definitely makes the conversation a lot easier. We can talk recipes and crap. Otherwise, we would really be diving into Filipino food right now and embarrassing John even more. So nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. By the way, speaking of like biggest live shows, we are already working on that. I mentioned this last week too. The Podathon is coming up, and we are going to be doing it. The date is semi-official at least. So we are going to be ending it on the day of the Charity Shield against Pals. So so it will start the day before, and it will end with that show. Or so do tune in for that. Circle the calendar for that, the 24-hour podathon. We are still looking to see maybe we'll do it on location. Go by John over there. He can bring some. If we do it in New York at Kerkez, will you promise us that you will bring over some Filipino food around like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something like that?
Sure. Like
All right, there we
not
go.
dinuguan. That's hard to bring around, but I can bring you like some snacks and stuff like that. Yeah.
What? You
Like
can bring a bowl? Like put them like
a bowl. I could fine. I could bring a bowl, but then like I don't know.
like
Like
Kerkez,
you know how restaurants
we
are.
can heat it up
You, you,
on.
you know how restaurants are. Like no outside food and shit like
Yeah,
that.
I guess
Like,
that's true.
yeah.
If they're taking us in, believe me, they will take anything. Okay, let's talk about this because yeah, see, get ready, Gally. Get some freaking sleep now because in 3 months we're gonna be now. Yes, see, Kazi's interested. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
yeah, no promises yet. We're going to see if that's possible at all. There's a lot to go to it. So we might be able to, but worse, either way, the second annual Podathon, 24-hour Podathon, the date is now official. Location to be determined. I know Galdi is going to be on a different chair, or he's going to be changing chairs so he doesn't need surgery afterwards. But let's talk about this because you did give me. Um, I okay.
out of context, that is wild, Cody.
I know. I was asking for food. You were asking for something else. Looks like you guys,
That is
you
wild
guys
out of
figured that
context.
out amongst yourselves. Let's talk about this because I was actually shocked to see the discussions happening around this, and I know it's changing almost weekly based on who's going to Champions League and stuff like that. But Because you sense an award thing, but I was going to bring it up. But every award you're going to put Gravenberg, so I figured it's a really pointless conversation for Wednesday morning.
Hey now.
But
For player of the
manager
season,
of
I
the
will be
year,
objective. Okay, I will be objective for player of the season. Okay.
he's so good. It's hard to be objective. I mean, maybe 2-3 months ago, I personally feel like it should be no debates, and Slot should be the
Yes.
manager of the year. 2-3
Yes.
months ago, I feel like it was a really solid debate between Nunez and him. But um, how do I mean? Do you still put Nunez in the conversation despite the fallback? I know they're playing well above expectations, but when they're fighting for it now, do you put him somewhere else?
I well, Nuno is part of it, but then they fell off a little bit. So for me, it's just the principle. I just googled it, right? I know you're averse to me googling something, but it helps this conversation, right?
Your
Anto-
recent history will be Filipino Foods Manager of the Year.
hey now, hey now. For, what I searched, like most recent entries, the 2016-17 Manager of the Year, right? And that's Antonio Conte. First season, he won Manager of the Year. So if we're going by that logic, Arne Slot should be Manager of the Year easily. He came in first season in this league, won the league. I think. Yeah.
This was a football channel, and then
Yeah.
these morning shows.
This is still a football channel, people. Like, don't get it twisted. It still
this
is
style of
one.
football. Go to the
Yeah.
kitchen, and then there's a couple of people are making their run to the bedroom, apparently in the background, but I don't know what's
Right.
going on there. Eddie Howe getting the Champions League and winning the trophy. That's a good point.
Yeah.
As well. But I think the discussion was getting the most out, right? I think with Eddie Howe, I mean, you look at that squad, and it's a solid squad.
It's a squad.
They're
Yeah, it's a
basically
solid squad.
probably doing, I don't want to say what they should, but you don't see, nobody can say, oh, I didn't realize Newcastle was this good. I mean, you look at you look at their starting 11 and their bench and stuff like that. They are, oh, has a special place over his dead body. Anybody else is going to win this
If
award.
there was a most disappointing manager, there you go.
Most disappointing Lego of all time. It is Slot, full stop. That's the thing. I think a couple of months ago it would be a different discussion, but right now it feels like it should be Slot, right? I mean, do you see a chance where, apart from Nuno, I don't see anybody else getting in the conversation?
No, and by the fact that I'm just going by like what I googled. Again, Google was helpful, right? Like Antonio Conte, right? First year, league title right away, Manager of the Year, full stop. Like no more questions, right? Like especially when the guy before him, as good as he was, Jurgen Klopp, didn't win it, right? With the same squad, so that has to, and we won it with what, 4 games to go, so.
Yeah, I would think so too. So it has to be Slot, Eddie Howe, honorable second. Really, everybody's getting Howe the second. I just feel like
I think Kazi mentioned Glasner as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's a good shout too. Like FA Cup, Palace are decent. Like they're not gonna blow everyone away, but like you still wouldn't want to face them. Like they'll give you a hard time. Like
I mean, when the ultimate prize is obviously winning the league.
Yeah.
How often do we see somebody who hasn't won the league win Manager of the Year? By the way,
let me
ask
Google.
Ask your friend. Pretend you're looking at the laptop. I don't even know how often it happens. And honestly, if Forest finished second or third, like I say, 3 months ago, or 2 months ago,
Tim, Klopp won Manager of the Year 2021-2022 when we lost out on the league by 1 point.
Thanks to Trent. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, the thing is, you couldn't be wrong. You could actually be right there. Like, there's probably a game where we lost or drew when he was asleep.
Who else? Is that a long list of names?
Let me see. Tony Pulis in 2013-14 with Crystal Palace.
So you already went a decade. 2 out of 10 managers are like non-title winners. Yeah, I just think it should be Slot. If it is getting the most out of your team, like I say, 2 months ago, you were like, okay, the top 3 is already determined. But Forest has fallen, and you could argue to their maybe like regular level. And I think that's why Nuno is out of the conversation. And once he's out of the conversation, I didn't think of Eddie Howe as, I think, good shouts in terms of winning the chain. But ultimately, it has to be you would think so. Would you be upset? I
Yeah,
don't know if
I'd
I
be
would be upset.
yeah, I'd be up in arms. Not upset, but I'd be
You'd
up
be
in
up in
arms.
arms.
Huh?
Up, you would be up in arms. You said?
Yeah, if it doesn't go to
Oh, that's
slot, I'd be.
upset, dude.
Oh, that's upset. Okay, like I thought it was like a level below upset. My bad.
Unless you're going around with up in arms all the time.
Hold on, let me Google. Let me Google.
Is up in arms same as
Oh, never
upset?
mind. Yeah, you're right. It first thing that came out, angry, rebellious. Okay, never mind. I would be perplexed there. I would be perplexed if it wasn't slot.
Yeah, I would be
Yeah.
like, what the hell? That sucks. But I don't know. A lot of these like personal awards, like that year when we had like, like Van Dyke with Ballon d'Or and stuff like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. It's like any award show and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah. I mean, Ozan Kabak said this is better than an ESPN
Oh,
show, which
that's
is
a
a
low
low
bar, my
bar.
friend.
It's
That's
a
a low
low
bar.
bar, but yeah, we appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Game later today, right?
Oh
Europa
yeah, right.
final.
Yeah.
The relegation battle teams going for it for the Europa. Who do you? I mean, I assume you want Spurs to win.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that kind of goes
100%.
without saying. I think for all of us, I don't think there's anybody saying like I want United to win. How likely is it? You think?
I genuinely think it's a coin flip. Like it's just a matter of who's gonna outshit each other. Unfortunately, like it's like, do you disagree? Like both teams are horrible. They're horrible football teams. How do you finish? What is it, 16th and 17th, and you're part of the Big Six? Like, come on. Like I don't
I
know.
just don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I think it was like I mentioned this a couple of shows ago. Like, Gary Neville was talking about it, and
yeah.
honestly, if you did a combined starting 11,
Mm.
it would be full of Spurs players. I don't know how
I would
many United players would
think
make it
so
in
too.
there. But sadly, see, this never happens on Monday night. Somehow this happens on every other day of the week that I agree with Gally. 60-40 in I just because I don't know if that's a Spurs factor. Just we know like they're going to be more under pressure, whereas United's I mean, they've had this on their radar for a long, long time. I feel like Spurs put it on the radar afterwards, whereas United, this was on the radar from like the
Right.
day Amarim pulled up and started losing. So I don't know why. Like, I just don't have faith in Spurs due to the situation, even though I feel like they have better players.
I have a friend who's a Spurs fan, and he sent me a link yesterday about, like, the headline was Postecoglou, I'm not a clown. I was like, oh, it's cooked, bro. Like, we're in trouble. Like, he's like, we're in trouble. Like, the fact that he has to address this shit.
I think when you have to say I'm not a clown, the
Yeah,
game is
like,
already over, right?
yeah, like, it doesn't exactly inspire the troops with confidence.
That's what it
Like,
does when you take the red nose off and
like,
you're like, I'm not a clown.
like, like I want them to. The thing is, I like Ange. Like his naivety is like it's detrimental to a team, but for me, it's I don't know. I just see some. I see what he's trying to do. Like, and it would just be fitting that the worst Spurs man. It would just be so fitting for Spurs. The worst Spurs manager in recent memory is the one who wins them their first trophy in however long. It just makes such. It's just a great storyline. I don't know about you, man. Like,
I'm amazed they haven't canned them before the final, actually.
right?
Okay, if
Exactly.
that isn't an option, and let's say Slot says, I'm done, I'm tired, he
What do
leaves.
you mean?
Your only two options are Amarim and Postagoglu as managers. Which one are you getting for Liverpool? For your own team?
Oh, for
Because
God's
I know what you mean about Postagoglu, and I do agree.
Mm.
Because his teams are fun to watch, and he's kind of like a fun. Maybe it's the accent, but it's like a fun guy to listen to in the press conferences.
Oh
I
yeah.
like things he
Oh yeah.
says and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you wanted them to manage your team, which one would you pick? And like I said, that is not an option. So you got to pick one of the two. You can Google this, baby.
No, I know I can't Google this, but
I saw your hand almost went to the keyboard. You're like, hey, could I AI?
yeah. In terms of Postecoglou understands the club. He grew up a Liverpool fan, so he knows the expectation. Understanding is different from actually having to deliver. The thing is with Amarim, the thing is when they come in, So the way I see it, when they come in, their first seasons are not going to be too dissimilar from each other, because Amorim is going to have to restructure the entire team to fit his system. He's
Yeah.
not like a slot who's like, okay, so I've got these players who could fit this system. I could do this system. Maybe I should implement a system that maximizes these players instead of enforcing my system. And I think Postecoglou's system is closer to our current system now. So, and because I like him, so I'm gonna go Ange just a little bit in terms of like if it's gonna pay off. I don't know. But to answer your question, Ange, in terms of what we have now, could he do something with it without breaking the bank? Ange for me.
See, okay, it's time to wrap up the show when I'm constantly agreeing with Gally. But
Well, that's basically what I'm trying to say. I went on a whole word salad thing there,
but see, I think
yeah.
Ainge is not. I think both their weaknesses are the facts that they will not adjust what they do based on who is out there. I give Emerim a bit more of a leeway on that because he came in January and he's kind of taken over a squad. Whereas, this is his second year. It's more of his team and stuff like that. He knows he's not trying to build something. He's already built something. But Ange has not. I mean, we criticized him all season on like the panel because he did not adjust. When those center backs went down, he still played with a high line and stuff like that. He did not adjust. But having said that, if somebody is coming in now, what they're taking over, Emerim is going to take 2-3 seasons because we're going to be watching what we're watching now.
Yeah.
Whereas what we have right now probably fits Ainge's system a bit better. But I don't have faith in either one pulling the slots and tweaking some things to get the most out of people.
Within the first 2 years, though, I think Ange can get us a trophy with the squad.
He always gets a trophy in the second year.
Yeah.
So
So
can both teams lose, please? I wish. But somebody
I don't
is
hate
going to
Spurs.
have to win.
I don't hate Spurs. So listen, like if they're again in the final, like against any Big Six opponents, I'd pull for Spurs. As unlikely they are to win.
Good morning, Wild Dads. Born in Liverpool. Where are you located now, man? Are you over here or are you still back there? Or are we drinking coffee or tea? I guess is the bigger question. The fact that Madison and Kulusevski are missing. Oh, I did not realize they were both missing.
Yeah. That's big.
Yes, thank you, Liverpool video. See, this is what I mean. Thanks to you guys, we are where we are because I always forget to ask for these things. Thumbs up, like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Score prediction on our way out over here.
4-2 Spurs.
4-2 Spurs. See, I would love a 4-2 game, especially if it's Spurs. Oh, really? That was another thing, man. The whole Brighton thing. I mean, they were probably they came from Abu Dhabi, went to the beach. I mean, no better place to go to than Brighton if you're in the UK, weather-wise, beach-wise, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, why the hell not? So 3-2 Spurs in extra time, says Ozan Kabak. Oh, man, I mean, it will be. I think it will be an entertaining game to watch, especially if Spurs win. But I don't know, man. I just have a really, really tough time. I will go with the 3-2 Spurs. But that's more like my heart picking than my brain, if you will. So yeah, it's because that's the thing. Yeah, especially Romero. Romero's a good name to pick out of that. But I mean, obviously, we're not going to be doing a live watch along for that one, but we will be back. The boys will be back tomorrow night, actually. Hopefully, they'll be talking about who we signed and who's official by then. There will be both lose, everyone wins. That's right, Bickler. Kevin's going to say penalties. Hey, Wild Dead Man, yeah, just bring it on. We're always looking for contributors. So, and he already subbed. So, man, follower of the day, if you will. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully there will be some more solid news. I don't know if they're just waiting for the season to be over and release everything at the same time, but I would like to make sure Frimpong is a done deal. I know it's almost a done deal.
I think by Friday, because Liverpool usually announce some good stuff on Fridays, right? Maybe on Friday.
I was asking earlier, and I never got to it. I do apologize about Edwards traveling. Wow, it's went over there. Like he traveled to Boston. Oh, there we go. Mr. Barrett said it. Edwards traveling to Boston this week. I never understand that. I think like Gali was mentioning something too, in terms of somebody flying the other way. I don't know who was flying where, but at this day and age, do these people really have to fly to get shit done? Like I understand,
Yeah.
like 2 decades ago, they were like he flew over there to talk to him and stuff like that. At this day and age, do we have to? Do they have to fly around? Is he really taking the check? Maybe like they couldn't send it. Like you know what? I'll fly over there and pick up the check for Wirtz and fly back, kind of a deal. I don't know, but or maybe he's picking up the new kits. The new kits, are they going to be able to wear the new kits? Because
No,
I
not
don't think
until
so.
August
Because
1.
it goes on till August.
Not
From what
until
I
August 1. Yeah.
yeah,
Not until August 1. So we're gonna be playing preseason in these nights.
preach.
Big,
This meeting says
Bigler,
I'm
do
actually.
not talk about meetings that could be emails with me right now because I am just fed up. I'm just fed up, brother. Like
I'm
yes,
actually really against phone calls at this day and age. Leave alone flying around. Like everybody who wants to get on a call
yeah,
at this day and age, dude, like we moved past that. Send a message. I send it back when I'm convenient. We're so talking without designating 20 minutes. Because I feel like anytime there's a call, there's a wasted 2-3 minutes of how's it going, man? What's up? And stuff like
yeah,
that.
the
As
small
opposed to
talk,
getting
yeah.
to what you're going to talk. Just it's 2025, people. In an old fart like me can get past the phone calls and meetings. Let's do it. But let's wrap the show up before we go all the way to the game over here. Thanks a lot for everybody joining us today, giving us the like, the subscribe, hit that notification bell, and all that kind of good stuff. Anything except the thumbs down. Let's collect this 150 million. If you want to spend 150 million this week, come make the case. Man, pick up some Zoom call, get on StreamYard.
He wants slideshows. He wants decks, man. He wants like those like transitions, like you know what I mean? Like
Oh man.
yeah.
But yeah, thanks a lot as always, people. Do join us tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. The Balt crew was here. Pandasal for breakfast for everybody. We'll wait while John Googles the recipe for that, and we'll be back. I'll be back Friday morning with the Reckless Gang. But have a great week, everybody. Enjoy the comedy that's going to happen later today, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.